This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
We are back with Dell Hypnosis, empowering minds, transforming lives, and so much more. Dennis Lagoe joining us here once again, live today from Ithaca, New York, but he's helping people all over the world with his techniques. And sometimes people may not really understand clinical hypnosis, what it's all about. And he's here to break it all down for us. And of course, tell you, show you with example how it really works and all the amazing results we can achieve. So first and foremost, how are you today?
Good, good. I'm great, Jill. How are you?
Great. Pleasure to have you back and excited to talk more about your craft. So, for those that missed our last show, please introduce yourself to everyone. Just tell us a little bit about what it is you do before we begin today's conversation.
My name is Dennis Lagoe. I'm a certified hypnotherapist and in upstate, but I work on Zoom, so I have clients basically all over the world, and I help people with anxiety because believe it or not, the underlying cause is pretty much universal. And what we do, and without going all into it now, that's what I do. Okay, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, and I find it's I've been doing that since 2006, so almost 20 years.
Wow.
Almost 20 years. I really enjoy it. Very satisfying, and we get great results. So,
Beautiful. Well, thank you for being here. And I know today we're going to break down some of the myths, right? Some of the good, the bad. There's really no bad, but what some people think, the Hollywood stage life. So where did you want to begin?
I mean, basically, what I want to cover today, uh, hypnosis, okay, so and how I can one. Basically, most folks have is kind of Hollywood. I want you to watch the watch, very, very sleepy, and then I can make you cluck like a chicken or go out and rob a bank. And the thing is, your unconscious mind will stop you, okay? If you're not a bank robber, you're not going to go rob a bank, okay?
Okay.
I always get a kick out of TV. They hypnotize someone and they go do
Mm-hmm.
something, that is completely out of their nature. Well, the key is that hypnosis is not sleep. Okay. People correlate that because when you're asleep and you dream and then the alarm wakes you up, that kind of thing. But it's nothing, it's not what it is. Okay. Um, Basically, it's a heightened state of relaxation that allows you to think clearly. Only you're not thinking with your conscious mind. We're going to use the subconscious. Okay. Only because logic will get overridden by emotion every time. Emotion will
Mm-hmm.
override logic, let's put it that way. Okay, this is why people have the symptoms, which are bad habits, which are
Yeah.
smoking, weight loss, anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
depression, these kind of things, but there's an underlying cause. And that's for later. I'm going to get into the why and wherefore. But basically, back to Hollywood, I mean, hypnosis is an everyday thing. Okay, hypnosis, if you've ever driven home and forgotten, you get out of the car, you shut the door, you grab your groceries, and you just forgot the last 20 minutes of the trip,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people relate to that. A lot of people, because you're thinking of 100 other things. You're still driving,
True.
but you're kind of on autopilot. Okay. It's like if you're sound asleep, you hear the alarm. Well, how do you hear the alarm? Well, your subconscious, they're listening, it's listening for it. Then you come back and you wake up and you sit there, whatever you do when you get up in the morning. But the thing is, the same way with watching a movie. Okay, you might be watching a movie and it's really scary, or it's sad. So you may feel sad or even cry. Even
Yeah.
though it's just a movie, your mind
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really know the difference.
True.
Okay, it responds the same way. So it's kind of like that with hypnosis. We can go in there and I say I guide you through it because I'm going to probably say this 5 times. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis.
Okay.
Okay. You do this all on your own. The hypnotist guides you through it. But for the folks out there, if we work together, I'll show you how to do self-hypnosis so
Ooh.
that you can use it in the future at any time. When something comes up and you need it, it's great. It's great. It's very valuable. It's a valuable experience. It's a valuable skill to have. Because see, the whole thing with conversational hypnosis, this was developed by Milton Erickson. He was a doctor, he's a medical doctor, he's a psychiatrist, and he
Mm-hmm.
was one of the first to incorporate hypnosis into his practice. Okay. A lot of people outside the hypnotherapy community don't really know his name or
Mm-hmm.
anything. But this guy was really, really amazing. I mean, he was born in like I don't know, 1898 or something. But by the 1940s, he'd started, doing a medical practice
Yeah.
and working as a psychiatrist. And he found that he could help people get over or cure things that nobody else could with hypnosis and started working it into his practice. He passed in 1980. And since then, I mean, at the time, of course, he was not appreciated at all. Okay. People called him a scammer, hoax, whatever, because it wasn't until 1958 that hypnosis was accepted by the American Medical Association as a real thing, if you will. I mean, because they use it for childbirth, they use it for lots
Yeah.
of different things. And despite, because I know myself several doctors that either use it themselves or refer people to me because they believe in it wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the thing is, the subconscious mind is just you go there every day. Okay. You go there all the time. Just when you're, like I said, if you talk to somebody and you ask them a question and geez, they'll look up over here and say, we all do it, right? Or you
Yeah.
look down to the left or whatever. I mean, there's supposed to be some secret code in the NLP where if they do to the right, they're remembering. If they do to the left, they're whatever. I
Lying, I
just,
think. Is it lying? I don't know. Something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. You're lying,
Okay.
you look down and look away. You're telling a lie, want people to see you. But without going through all that, everybody does it. Everybody, so you know what I'm talking about, that
Totally.
that you're accessing your subconscious, whether it's for a memory or you
Or
ask somebody a tough question, they want to go there to go through all their data to say, well, how am I going to answer this question? What do I really think? What's my opinion of this kind of thing? Okay. And what you want to do is what Erickson found was that you know the real problem and you know what triggers it. So the thing is, why can't you quit on your own? Okay. If you
interesting.
know what because see, I always say somebody comes into me, okay, let's just use smoking, for example. That's a symptom. There's an underlying cause to that. Okay.
Hmm.
What's the real underlying cause? And this is what we need to find out. Okay. Whether it was some kind of without going in generalities, but, childhood trauma or whatever happened. Okay. What your body does is when this situation starts to arise with anxiety, for example, you start to feel nervous, you start to feel anxious. Well, something triggers it. Okay. And then you go down this pathway. I like to call it like a neural pathway that goes through the same set of things that you always go through. You withdraw or you crawl back in bed or,
Mm-hmm.
this kind of thing. Where
Yes.
instead, what we're going to do is we're going to find a new way to go. We're going to find
Okay.
you a new pathway that takes you to a better place. And then eventually we'll put a stop sign up on the old one. So as soon as you start down there, you're not going to go there anymore. You're going to go down the new pathway, okay, with a series of thoughts or things that will guide you to do that. Because the thing is, people know what the true issue is. You know that when the defense mechanism is triggered, okay, so that you start with your usual routine. But what we'll do is and you also know the solution, okay, which have made people, I say that, they go, what do you mean I know the solution? Well, you know what you would really rather do instead. But because this is it's not almost, it is an automatic trigger of events
Okay.
that happens every time, you know, you need help to overcome that. And we'll show you how to get there and how to get that help, and how to get past it. Because this was one thing, I mean, this is what was so phenomenal with Erickson's work. And it's kind of like I make the analogy between like Apple and Microsoft, okay? There's maybe less than 20% of the hypnotists using this. Most people use the old style. I call it old school. I'll give you some relaxation techniques, and you're going to
Mm-hmm.
walk down 10 steps. And with every step, you're going to feel more and more relaxed until you're just so relaxed. And then I'm going to feed you suggestions. You don't want to smoke anymore. It's a dirty, filthy habit. You want to be
Yeah.
around for your kids. And okay, but that's telling you what to do. Do you like to be told what to do?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Nobody
No.
does. Nobody does,
Mm-mm.
you know? But if I can make you understand that you want this as an alternative and you've told me what you'd rather do, I said, well, what would you rather do? Well, A, B, C. Then I suggest that to you because it's your idea and you'll accept it. And eventually, maybe not immediately, but you understand. And so this is what blows people away. I tell them, you've got the answer, but you've got to do the work. But I'll show you how. Okay. I can guide you through that process with a combination of conversational hypnosis, some NLP, some other things, um, which neuro-linguistic programming grew out of Milton Erickson's work. Later, a couple of guys, Bandler and Grinder, and some other people developed this NLP in the 80s and 90s, which is more dynamite stuff because they just take what the brain does anyway
True.
but guides you along this path and sets it up A, B, C, and D so that then it becomes viable for you to want to do it.
Okay.
And the other thing is too,
I like this.
yeah, with self hypnosis, you can go in anytime you feel you need to. Sometimes I do it quite a bit, sometimes every day, sometimes a couple times a day. Whatever it is that I want to, answer or get help with or whatever, I put myself in this state of heightened consciousness. And it takes away all of the what's going on in your head and what's going on around you and lets you laser focus on what it is you're trying to accomplish. So it's really valuable. Like I said, I started out doing it just for my own edification and interest over 20 years ago. And I've had great luck showing other people too. Because after we work together, I'll show you how to do self-hypnosis. And that's what I tell people too, that, really you're responsible for your
Yeah.
own success or failure. I can guide you through it. I can help you with it. And most people come to me, they really want help. They're not
Mm-hmm. Of
resistant at
course.
all. Because,
Yeah.
I've seen, you see stage shows where people come
Yeah.
up on the stage and they pull your hand and you fall asleep and then you all fall down on each other and
It's so
I'm
true.
dancing or, all this kind of crazy stuff that you see. And that's okay. But, I'm not interested in doing anything like that. I'm more interested in helping people. And that's pretty much where we go with that. And the thing is, the other key is that it works great on Zoom, like you and I are doing. Because I did plenty of people in my brick and mortar office, and we had a nice little quiet, dark room with a reclining chair, and we'd play video or CDs for them, put them into an induction, play this CD full of suggestions, and then bring them out and start talking about, how you're going to do this or that with keywords and then send them home with the CD to listen to. And, 3 or 4 weeks or 9 weeks or something, we're working towards results. And all of that works. It has
Yeah.
been, this is just so much more effective and faster. That's the key. 1 to 3 visits, usually tops. Normally, a lot of times I'll get results in the very first visit. So, and if you're interested, you give me a call. We have what we call a strategy call, where you
Yep.
call me, we chat. I basically determine if I can help you. Most people I can help them. There's a few people for whatever reason that, we're just not going to work together. And, that's just human nature.
True.
But the strategy call is free. Call me, we'll set something up, and then we'll determine a time when we can have a meeting and get right down to brass tacks and help you. Because Zoom is great. The problem See, it comes up for you in your surrounding, okay,
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
in your car, not in my office. So if I had
Got
you
it.
come and share in my office, all right, you're just more comfortable in your own space. You're more relaxed. We can have a better session. And I find that, with
I
clients around,
agree.
oh, they love since the advent of COVID too, people are used to Zoom now. It's not a foreign thing where, and there was people using it before, but now it's almost universal for business meetings and things like that. And I can't tell you how many calls I've had with my doctor. We just talk like this. I don't have to go to the office. He doesn't have to take the time, but push a button, we chit chat, and we're all good. Obviously, when it comes time to where he has to physically examine someone, you have to be there. So that's it for Zoom. Yeah, Zoom is good. Zoom is a good medium.
It's
And
amazing.
just
Amazing. I love it. We're all so connected from so far, but we're learning so much. It's one of the best things to happen from COVID, I gotta say. I think,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, it was before COVID, but we really started using it more so. And then for people's businesses, amazing.
Yeah, because the bottom line is, I want to find out how long you've had the problem when we talk, what triggers it, okay, and what would your life be like if you no longer had this problem? Because a lot of people, they're so wrapped up in it, they can't
True.
even
What?
think of that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But what am I going to do if this wasn't an issue? If I could jump out of bed in the morning with a big smile on my face and, go to work, love my job, all of these things that everything, obviously, nobody's life is perfect. But
No.
if you can change a few things to make it better, this
Mm-hmm.
is what we try to do to get you in a better place. Because again, I think the other day when you said that anxiety, depression, these
Well,
things,
yeah,
today's
and that's a lot what you
society is
focus
just
on. Yes. Uh-huh.
unbelievable. I mean, especially with social media. And it's hard to not get wrapped up in that because it's so prevalent, and it's always right there. I mean, you see everybody with their phone, just, their head buried in their phone, you know.
Nonstop. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, that's bad stuff. But anyway, yeah, and then we can find out what's going on. And then if I feel I can help you with it, we'll certainly set something up and start with, how you doing, what's going on, tell me some things. We get to know a little bit of background. And the key is keying in on a solution, a viable solution for you and finding out from you what that solution is because you already know. And this is what I tell people, you already know. So which is pretty amazing. Um, but again, back to a lot of the teaching is I just want to promote this style because I did do another style for a while. We would regress people like 2 or 3 times. In other words, take them back to try to find whatever trauma might be triggering what's going on today. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
we would take them back. Maybe it was when they were 5 years old and their mother and father were having a fight, and arguing and screaming. And the little child is just can't do anything about it. That was the
Mm-mm.
key trauma, that there's nothing they can do. But we tell them, well, now you're an adult. You're no longer 5 years old. You can look at it from the adult view and you can change it, da da da. And then, go back. Well, yeah, that worked. And we'd
Yeah,
have
right.
and then we'd listen to music and then we, go on for 3 weeks to listen to this and go back and forth. And it was just a long, drawn out process. The same with talk therapy. I'm not putting it down or building it up, but I've talked to a lot of my clients that have been there for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and it's not getting the results for the most part. And I unfortunately that's the case with an awful lot of things where this hypnosis is even addiction. You take, alcoholism or drug addiction, or there's like a 3 or 4% success rate, or where you can get people to stop. That is so minuscule. That yeah, there's programs and AA and different things like that. They're all great. I'm not putting any of it down because when people need help, they need to go somewhere to get help. But it also is better if you can get help and then find some kind of solution that you can live with. That's the key thing that I like to focus on. Because no, we don't help 100% of the people. but I can help a tremendous amount of the people that I work with. And I'm pretty happy about that. It gives me a good
Clearly.
feeling
I see
that,
it in your
I'm helping,
face, the energy.
yeah,
If
you
you're
know,
just
and,
listening, yeah, yeah.
that I can contribute in that way. So, do you have any questions?
I want to know, and I think a lot of people know. Um, Again, when I first ever heard of hypnosis, it was back in the day, and it was like to quit smoking. It was to quit drinking, and to help people lose weight. But and that's true from what I know. But there are
Mhm.
so many other underlying things we don't think about that it could help with. We mentioned anxiety. I know it's a big one. There's phobias, fine. But what are some of the things that our listeners out there might not really understand that this could help us with? Because there's hundreds of things hypnosis works for. Could you tell us some of the things that maybe on the path less taken or path less known, in a sense? What are some of the specific things that hypnosis can help that we may be like shocked with?
Well, it's never the problem. The problem is never the problem. Okay.
Okay.
It's a symptom. It's a symptom of the problem. So, for example, you can't lose weight. Okay. Well, why
Mm-hmm.
can't you? I used to count, do weight loss. People would come in, and the woman, I cannot lose weight to save my life. I said, well, if I put you in the room and nailed the door shut and came back in 30 days, you think you'd lose weight? Of
Uh-huh.
course you would. You know what I mean? So it's some kind of, because there's so many different reasons why people overeat, and I've struggled with my weight my whole life. I know that, the drill. But the same with smoking, okay? Why would you put something in your mouth and suck on it? Have you ever smoked
Never.
cigarettes? They're
No, my mother did.
disgusting.
I tried.
Yeah,
I tried when I was 12.
yeah,
I put it, I was like,
yeah.
ugh.
Yeah, I was like junior high. My friend gave me a smoke, and I'm like, my God, how can you do this? I took one drag, and I'm not bragging or think I'm better than anybody else, but the
But
idea, but why do people do that? You see them still sucking on cigarettes, and they're horrible, and they kill you. And I want to say, here's a gun, okay? Get it over with quickly. Why smoke one a pack a day for 40 years and die of lung cancer? You know? But there's something else going on in their mind when they need that drag, and it releases chemicals in their brain that gives them that immediate rush or sense of satisfaction from the nicotine that they crave.
yeah,
Anyway, with, caffeine to a lesser degree, I just
yeah.
cup every morning. I have coffee, by the gallon. But the idea that there's some other reason that you're smoking, that's a symptom. There's a real underlying reason that we need to find out. I had a guy smoke 5 packs a day for like 30 years. He
Wow.
quit on day one. He
Whoa.
quit on day one, you know? And I've had several really good success because he had a lot of other things going on in his life, and his wife had died, and something else happened, and he had a bunch of trauma that this was kind of a quick way to, because he just started smoking when he was a kid like everybody else. You go to a job or you go in this air, the service or whatever, and you just do what everybody else does, monkey see, monkey do. But then he kept going. And you can't tell how many people I quit for a year. I quit for 6 weeks. I quit and then go right back to it when they try to quit cold turkey because that trauma is still there. And it's the same way with, the kids. I don't want to keep going back to this, but not kids, everybody with social media. Social media creates anxiety. That's not something I just came up with. How many now they're suing Facebook and all these other ones for all these children, childhood suicides and all this kind of stuff that it's because it works on your brain. It's addictive. You can't put it down. You have to look at your this and that, all scrolling for I'm guilty of it. I'll go look something up and a half hour later, I'm still looking
You,
at sports
you've
cars
been
or
hypnotized. You're like in a trance, like where, yeah,
hypnotized. Exactly. It's addictive behavior.
yeah.
So it may be the new highway hypnosis, you can't put your phone down, kind of thing.
Hmm.
So that's the key though, that strange things, different things, it's a commonality, if you will. Okay. Because that's the nice part about ACH versus this other style I did. You had to find the problem. You had to relive the problem. You had to look at the problem like you're watching a movie and make it go away. I don't need to relive the problem. I don't even need to know what the problem is. I just need to know that you know how you're going to rewire your brain, okay? How you're going to change that so it's no longer immediately pops into your head as a like a trauma response, as a knee-jerk reaction, okay?
Yeah.
What we're going to do is change the behavioral pattern without having to delve into what the original problem really was. I've had people go back. One woman, this is a weird one, I'll tell you, okay?
Go ahead. I
We're
like
talking
hearing the
about,
stories. Go ahead.
she went into, because I used to do like past life regressions and things
Yeah.
like that. I've experimented with all kinds of weird stuff, spiritual mediumship, all this. But she actually started walking down the path and said, I'm a Roman soldier. Okay. And she's like giving me these descriptions and talking through all this stuff and using a different voice. And I'm like, holy crow, I'm freaked out. So I just keep playing along with her, and then she came back. And so whether or not, I mean, I thought that was cool. I thought it was fun. And whether or not people really have had past lives
Yeah.
because I've had a bunch of them where they tell me, different stuff, when I kind of experimented with that, I didn't do it and charge anybody money or anything. I would just
But
another area
that's
that I was
awesome.
experimenting with. Yeah, so it was really cool. It was kind of cool that people and you have to think they're not just playing along because I didn't put these ideas in their head. So it's kind of well, you go back and forth because with what's like they always say, the mind is a very scary place. Don't go there alone.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, we are out of time. But Dennis,
no
great
worries.
conversation as always. Go ahead. Go ahead. So, thank you for being here. And tell us how we can reach out to you.
Well, I think I don't know if my email's up there. Certainly give me an email or
Yeah.
call me on the phone, 315-427-5031. And the only reason we need to talk on the phone is to set it up because I have a Calendly, that appointment schedule thing,
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, go to Dennis, delhypnosis.info, info,
Perfect.
delhypnosis.info is my website. And then you can email me directly with my name at gmail.com or call me on the phone, 315-427-5031. I answer the phone. So pretty much, anytime within reason. I'm on the East Coast, but I have people in South Africa and Australia. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning the next day when it's 3 in the afternoon here.
Got it.
We make it
Well,
work. And of course people in Canada and California and all over the States too.
got it. Well,
So
thank
yeah,
you again, Dennis.
love to work with you. Love to help people.
Have a fantastic day. We appreciate your time. Bye bye.
Thank you, Jill. Bye-bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that